Hey, this is Jamie Wolf with the Message Accelerator and also your business and writing coach for a program called Create Your $1,000,000 Story so people know, like, and trust you. This is my first run through with my very first set of slides, and I want to just give you a little backdrop. So my intent is to do a live pre-training starting today every day for the next 5 days. And I've got a pretty extensive business background in all sorts of things, but I'm new to this platform and I recently created this program and I'm new to getting on Facebook Live. And so this is kind of a practice run for me, and I'll go ahead and share the recording. But I was just listening to the Children's Congress for the American Diabetes Association, and there are all these young children right now who are testifying before Congress. And man, that really put things into perspective. They're kids who are dealing with an incurable disease. That's first and foremost. They are thinking very adult things about staying alive all day, every day. And secondly, they're standing in Washington, D.C., testifying before Congress, and they're reading what they've written, and they're breathing, and they're making eye contact. And if they can do that, I can get over myself and do this, right? So even though I've been stressing about it. And the other thing is, I just want to be really transparent with you. I love the thought of coming across as this high and mighty expert. I'm on a learning curve here. I'm just going to be honest. I'm not in a learning curve with business and with numbers and statistics and writing and publishing. I know that stuff inside out and cold. What I'm on a learning curve with is getting on Facebook Live. It's kind of like having stage fright. Making sure the technology works so that my Facebook Live is sharing on all these different platforms. That's what I'm new at. And so that's what's stressing me out a little bit. But those kids reminded me that there's a whole lot more serious stuff going on, and I can just be done with that. So what I'm going to do here, if I can figure out how, is go ahead and start this training presentation and then also give you a little bit of background about me. So it's just going to take a second. Okay. Hello. Loading. Any day now. So I guess while I'm waiting for that, there you go. Create Your $1,000,000 Story so people know, like, and trust you. 14-day strategy masterclass. And this is pre-training, which is free. The masterclass itself is paid, although minimal charge, so not a hardship for you to get enrolled. But let me go ahead and give you some value first. And before that, let me give you a little bit of background on me. I have had a medical device and disease management company. I helped co-found it what feels like forever ago now. Did not intend to be an entrepreneur. I don't think I even knew what an entrepreneur was. Busy minding my own business, working in the corporate world. One of my children got really sick, and the way parents do, you look for every which way and sideways that you can help your kid. And so in the process of that, created some medical technology that is designed to help people manage a chronic disease where there's a lot of data points coming in, and where a person, either a young child or an older adult parent, isn't necessarily able to know what to do with all the data. At any rate, spent a couple of years doing that, ran some clinical trials, traveled the world, fundraising. It was a very heady experience, a huge learning curve. We were successful right out of the gate. We had beginner's luck. And then some things changed, and I learned some lessons that catapulted me into a different role of working in economic development, which is where, every county and every state across the country has an economic development group where they go and bring in business in order to elevate the tax base and the employment base in their community. And my particular economic development group was designed to bring in manufacturing, warehouse, and distribution, but they didn't have anybody working in entrepreneurship. But we had hospitals and we had colleges and we had technical schools, so we had a lot of good intellectual property in our area. It was just a matter of developing it, teaching people with technology how to scale, and then also educating the investors. We had a lot of retired wealthy people in our community who were doing angel investing, but I had a role in helping them learn due diligence and valuation and all sorts of things. So it was a great opportunity. I found myself saying the same things over and over. And so I wrote a book, and that introduced me to a whole new world of writing and publishing. And I started a publishing company one thing led to another. Life happens. And so I ended up switching gears a little bit, going to work for a startup company that was just magnificent. And I got to meet so many amazing researchers around the world working on ocean health and technology. Lots of money, lots of really smart people involved because we've got some really big problems going on. But where there are big problems, there are big opportunities and big solutions, right? And from there, I backed out of that just a little while and I opened up a brick and mortar. That was another interesting learning curve. And because I firmly believe that themes cycle in our lives, the same themes kept going round and round, my same interests of really wanting to make a difference, really being interested in people's stories and their backgrounds and the adversity they've overcome and how that has strengthened them, not harmed them, and how resilience comes into play. So that brings me to creating your $1 million story here today. And I love stories and I love learning about where you've come from and what you've overcome. And I love meeting people who have taken that adversity and say, well, now I've got experience in a particular area, or I've studied and gained expertise as a result of the thing that I went through. And now I want to share and I want to give back and I want to help other people do the same. And I love to write and I love to read. So that brought me to this intersection where it is possible for you to build a business that's yielding $1 million in revenue within 12 months. But for people to know, like, and trust you, they need to know your story. And there are so many people writing books and hitting bestseller, but once they've done that and they've invested that time and that money into getting that accolade, they don't really know what to do next. So that's where this comes in. This is going to help you craft your story and craft your business plan and get ready to write, publish, launch your business, and really make a difference and change some lives. So how about we get to that pre-training? Thanks for listening to all of that. So the format of the 14-day masterclass, your $1 million story masterclass, is every day you're going to know what result you're aiming to get. And then you're also going to know what to do because everything requires an action. It's great to plan, and entrepreneurs are idea people, and we have thousands of ideas. But the difference always is in those who can implement and execute. And I'm always looking for another word. What can you say other than execute? Which to me just brings to mind chopping somebody's head off. But you know what I'm getting at is what can you do? And then what resources do you need to use? So every single day, the format is going to be, what are you going to get as a result of doing this thing? What are you going to do to get that result? And then what thing might you need to use to help you along? So one of the things that's really important to focus on is clarity. What exactly is your mission? You may have an idea that you want to help people. You may have an idea of what your strength is, what your skill set is, but you're still not entirely sure how to go about getting it. Just the other day, I was speaking with a young man, a couple of them actually. One is in insurance, and the other wants to start a chain of barbershops. And those seem like pretty clear, focused missions and businesses. But the thing is, why are you getting into whatever it is that you're getting into? Do you have a personal relationship with that industry? Do you simply want a vehicle that is going to give you enough money so you can stop going to your corporate job because you hate the commute, or you hate your office mates, or you hate where you work and the building is dingy, or you've got kids and your schedule isn't flexible enough, or you're always on the road traveling, and so you want to escape. You know what you don't want, and so it feels as if this other opportunity will give you the finances to avoid that. But what else might they give you? Might they give you where you have to work 7 days a week to meet your quota? Might it be that you can never hire reliable people, or there's a lot of regulations that you have to meet, and so your expenses almost become prohibitive, or you find yourself working 12 or 14-hour days to cut back on expenses, and then you don't have the life that you wanted. So part of the clarity around your mission is to make sure that the life and the business that you create actually delivers not just cash flow, but the lifestyle that you want and the people that you want to be associated with and aligned with every day. And that's all in the context of how do you go about getting new clients? Because say you do one-on-one coaching and you coach in nutrition and you love the subject and you love the people who come to you and you love helping them. But as soon as you get done with one person, you're now stressed because your money flow has stopped and you're constantly in that search for the next client and the next client. And then some people come to you and they go, oh my goodness, I really want to work with you, but I can't afford you. Can you give me a scholarship? Can you give me a discount? And invariably, when you almost become codependent with your clients, you're attracting people who frankly are victim oriented or excuse oriented, and they just haven't done the mindset work yet to bring themselves to a place where they're fully accountable and responsible for themselves. And so you end up bending your own integrity and it becomes this downward cycle that's awful. So we want to get you clients that are aligned, that are productive, that bring you joy, that energize you and not suck the life out of you. And we want to do that on autopilot. So I know I haven't started training on anything yet, and you've been watching for forever, and I apologize because I hate those videos. But since this is the first one, we just got to get up to speed and on the same page here. So people who are going to get the most benefit from this pre-training video series, which again is going to go today through Sunday, if you're a life or health coach, a speaker, a trainer, a network marketer, a course creator, and you want to quickly catapult your business, influence, and authority online in order to make a difference for people who urgently need your expertise or experience now. So you may already be doing one-on-one coaching. You may already have an online presence. You may have already written and published a book. It may have already hit bestseller. You may be running a fitness facility and you're very busy in your business. And yet you feel if you could share your story and your lessons learned, you could add to your revenue stream, you could increase your margins, you could back down on the work you don't like to do and increase the time you have to spend doing the stuff that you love. So that's what we're targeting here. So this is also the right program and the right pre-training for you. If you feel like you're grinding away slowly to build a list of qualified leads, you can read this. You're frustrated with no slow or unpredictable sales of your product or your services. You're hustling to establish yourself as a credible, trustworthy, and unique authority in your particular niche. You're feeling like just any old ant, unable to stand out as your uniquely qualified self on a crowded hill. Or you're working like a dog to figure out business systems so you can do more of what you love, or you are battling to find the fastest, simplest path to cash flow that's consistent and growing so your business can thrive and so you can too. So if you said yes to any of those things, then stick around. Right now you're just investing time, and I know time is precious and I'm sorry I'm taking so much of it, but that's where we are. So here's the thing that you need to do. All businesses, regardless of size, location, or industry, require three things to be profitable. For every training that I present to you, I'm also going to give you a free PDF that you can download, and it's going to answer all of these questions. So I'm just curious. You can comment below, see if you can answer what's A, what's R, what's M. And I know this is training and I'm supposed to be teaching you, but that's going to be in the PDF. And I'd just love some interaction to see if you know what these things are that you need to be profitable. And truly, you could be a dry cleaner, you could be a restaurant, you could be a giant publishing company, you could be, a Fortune 100 company with lots and lots of legal firms, you could be a real estate mogul. It really doesn't matter. You could be an independent single person consultant. But as a business, regardless of whether you are taking street traffic only or your sales are local or they're regional or they're domestic or they're international, you still need these three things. And if you download the PDF, you'll know what they are. The other thing is all businesses are going to fall into one of three buckets. And this is a little bit trickier. Sometimes I have a hard time of figuring out why I would fall into one of these three buckets. But really, when you break it down, this is the case. If you think of Starbucks coffee, Are they in the coffee industry or are they in the real estate industry? Do they market based on the features and benefits of their coffee, or do they market based on the fact that they build community? The age-old ancient needs to be replaced case study from business school, the razor and the razor blade model. You sell the razor for really cheap because you've got recurring revenue with the razor blade, and those are not inexpensive, especially when you buy them over and over and over. And when you look at an ad for a razor and a razor blade, are they selling the thing and how it's made and what its features are, and 2 blades versus 3 blades, or electric versus handheld, or whatever? No, they've got some gorgeously hunky guy, and you're thinking of the relationship that you might have when you look as fantastic with this clean shaven face or whatever, right? So again, I'm not going to give you the answers to these 3 things right now. Go ahead and put your guesses down in the comments below. Feel free to download the free PDF that walks you through the answers to this extensively, so it'll make sense for you in your context. The next thing, review. Your competition swims in what ocean? Not the Atlantic or the Pacific. It goes with the color, and it's defined by sizable current or growing investment. And so the key here is you do want to know who your competition is. When I worked with scalable tech companies and investors, and they go through their pitches, the question always was, who is your competition? And you couldn't say nobody, because nobody wants to be in a brand new market, because that's not proven, and now you've got to go educate the market. And you don't want to discount competition that maybe doesn't have the same widget, but it is fulfilling the same need in some other way. So think of exercise equipment. You could say the competition to treadmill is going for a walk or a jog outside on a path. You don't need a piece of equipment. So you're not comparing 2 treadmills and what their features and benefits are. You're comparing the exercise of going for a walk or a run, right? So that's the kind of thing. So where is your competition? And the thing that's key is there has to be money pouring into that space. So do you want to go compete one-on-one? No, you don't want to be a commodity where you're just competing on price, because that's a race to the bottom. But you do need to know which ocean. And again, you can put your answer in the comments below and check out the PDF. Do you want to create a new or improved opportunity? Which do you think takes more convincing? And do you want to be in the business of convincing somebody why they need to let go of what they're familiar with and come try you, who's new and untested? So again, go ahead and check out that PDF. And then let's have some conversation and discussion in this group about where you're swimming right now and where you want to be swimming. Here's another thing that people overlook a lot, is going for a walk and getting quiet and thinking and reflecting. So do you know which Simon I'm referring to when I talk about doing something that isn't what Simon says? I will elaborate a little bit more on this one. I believe it's really important to start with who. Who are you doing this for? And I'd venture to say, first and foremost, you're doing this for you. You need to build a business. You need to be self-sufficient. You need to be financially secure. You need to wake up in the morning and feel fantastic about the day that you're getting ready to have. You need to reduce your stress. You need to create a healthy living situation for yourself, because how you feel trickles down to everybody else in your immediate environment, whether that's a significant other or kids or pets or parents or whoever, coworkers, fellow students. You've got to take care of you, and that your energy is going to be felt by all the people around you. So let's get your energy straight. So first and foremost, you're doing this for who? Chances are you're also doing it for another who, which would be your family. You might be doing it for a cause that you want to invest in and donate to with time or treasure. And then lastly, you want to know who you're aligned with. So when you are attracting customers, who do you want to work with? Because if you think of any retail setting, if you've ever worked as a waitress or a waiter or a server, or worked in retail clothing or fast food or any of those things, you know that customer service can be horrific, right? Not always. You meet some great people, but it can be very trying. And so imagine you build this fantastic company and you work really hard and you create it and it's filled with these customers that you just want to hide from. So that's no good. So before you build this business and put all the time and money and effort into doing it, make sure you're going to attract clients that you are aligned with. So I suggest starting with your who. Go ahead and comment below about what Simon says to start with, right? And then I'd love it if you would share a little bit in our Facebook group about what's your story. Where have you been? Where are you going? I shared a little bit about mine. And then because we're talking about writing and writing books, because to share your story, you're going to start with a book and then base your business on that book. What are the 5 WHs and the leftover H, right? So any, grade school English class will give you the answer to that. But go ahead and comment below and remember, check out the PDF and you'll get the answers. So go ahead and comment below whether this was team live or team replay. If you're ready to get busy, go ahead and comment ready to implement. If you're going to show up again tomorrow for the training, if you took a walk and you started thinking about why are you really going into business and what has your story been and how has it elicited your particular superpower, then how has it compelled you to want to save somebody else from going through some of the heartache or pain that you went through? How do you want to assist someone to get through your experience faster with less trauma? I mean, there are so many examples, whether it's a health illness, health or mental illness, finances, relationships, work, anything that you may have experienced. You competed in the Olympics and you learned how to train better. You lost a tremendous amount of weight. You had an accident which seemed like it was going to change your life for the worse and it didn't. You were diagnosed with an illness and great things happened because of that. Whatever the circumstances, life happens and we all have stories. And it's how we choose to go through those stories and what we choose to do with what we learned that really dictates the outcome and the cheerful, positive, grateful life that we're going to have going forward. So I'd love it if you shared some of your story. And then if you go ahead and click the link in the comments below, again, you can get the free PDF with all of today's conversation and extensive answers so that you can see how it applies to you and what you're doing. So I do apologize. The pre-training is kind of a misnomer because I didn't teach you a lot on this live, but we will go through it in the PDF. Okay. And come back tomorrow because we're going to start on some new topics. And again, depending on the pushback and the feedback I get, I might talk a little bit more detail oriented and do this and don't do that during the actual videos. Thanks for being here. Oh, yeah, coming up on Monday is the actual class, Create Your $1 Million Story, so people know, like, and trust you. It's a 14-day challenge or strategy masterclass. By the end of those 14 days, so just 2 weeks from now, you're going to have a completed business blueprint and a completed book outline. So you're going to get timetables, you're going to get spreadsheets, you're going to get workbooks, you're going to have daily live videos where I actually will teach each day. So you can rapidly attract clients with your story of burdens to blessings or regrets to results. Down below, I've got the link where you can click to go ahead and join. And I really hope you do join us. It would be fun to have you along for the ride. Just 2 weeks. No big deal. Not much to lose out on if it doesn't work for you. But gosh, if it does work for you, you could be at the beginning of your $1 million story. That would be pretty cool. So again, these links will be in the comments below to get your free PDF of today's training, free day 1, and to register for the 14-day class that is starting this Monday. Go ahead and join us. Thanks a lot. Jamie Wolf signing off. Bye.